Hey Atlantic Seaboard, my name is Caitlyn Franks. I'm from the Baltimore chapter of NCSY, and I am proud to be presenting this week's ATS Devar. So this week's Parsha is Parshat Behar, and in Parshat Behar, the Torah begins with the promise, if you follow my laws and faithfully observe my commandments, I will grant your rains this season. So the commentary says that according to this verse, not only will the performance of Hashem's commandments, or teshuvah, bring blessings, but the Torah also insists that the ways in which a person thinks and perceives the world counts as the possible blessings of Hashem. So in important ways, our thoughts program us to experience the world, and by opening one's mind to new possibilities, life offers us an additional means by which to experience blessings, by living, making the most of, and experiencing life. Another major blessing and mitzvah is by sharing the wonder and excitement of living with others around you, especially those who are not as fortunate as others. So a couple of weeks ago was Yom HaShoah, which is Holocaust Memorial Day. And I wanted to share with all of you a story that influenced a change and a perspective on how I lived my life to the fullest. So a few months ago, I was not in a good place. Things were just not going the way I'd planned, and I was really struggling. Things were really hard for me. And I was ready to just give in, and I had little to no appreciation for my life and what I had. So about a few months ago in January, I was with my theater class, and we went on a trip to New York City. And on the bus, I really was not feeling well, and I was like, oh God, why am I on this bus? Why am I going to the city of all things? And I reached into my bag, I don't know, to get my phone, and I felt something that I thought was my phone, and when I pulled it out, it was a pack of 50 Keep Smiling cards. And I looked at them, and I'm like, hey, all right, let's see, I could probably get rid of these somehow. And I decided to get them off my hands. I would hand them all out in the city, just to random people, whatever. So when we first arrived in the city, my walking group, we arrived, and we were like, okay, where do we go first? Starbucks, of course. So we walk into Starbucks, and I was the first one in line, and I was like, okay, why not? I'll give a card now. So I pull a card out as I'm paying for my drink, and I hand it to the barista, and she just glowed with happiness. She was thrilled to have this little blue card that just said 2 words on it. And she was talking to me and chatting with me, and she was really sweet. And after I left the line, she paid for all of my group's drinks. It was pretty jarring. I mean, it was awesome. Didn't expect it, but I was like, you know, these really make people's days, so let's keep going. And I decided I would keep handing them out. And throughout the day, I handed them out to multiple people, and it was really fun. I handed them to a couple cops, to random people walking down the street. There were people who looked upset, to random guys who were dressed up. It was a lot of fun. And eventually, I was down to 1 card. I'd handed out 49, which was pretty cool. And at the end of the day, we were at a restaurant, some kosher restaurant. We were picking up dinner before we got on the bus, and I noticed there was an older woman sitting by herself. This really old lady. She was by herself. She was sitting at a table in the corner, and I decided, you know what, I'm going to give her my last card. And so I walked up to her and I tapped her on the shoulder. I said, excuse me, ma'am, I want to give this card to you. And I handed her the card, and I said, I hope you have a nice day, nice evening. And as I began to walk away, she grabbed my wrist and she said, wait, sit down. And so I was a little puzzled. I was like, okay then, not expecting this. And I sat down, and she took my wrist and she placed it in front of her, and she took off a bracelet from her own wrist and put it onto mine. This bracelet right here. Take a look. It's very pretty. She put this bracelet on my wrist, and she said to me the following, which I actually wrote down afterwards in my journal. She said this to me: I'm 92 years old, and I live every day of my life to the fullest. Each morning I say thank you to Hashem and daven shacharit. I'm so grateful to Hashem that I'm still alive and kicking, but it's people like you who truly make me happy. Even though I had to live and suffer through a Holocaust, and even though that we are still in Galut, exile, I hope that Mashiach comes in your lifetime. And may Hashem bless your neshama and your family, and may you live to be successful and live to 120. And may you be blessed with forever happiness, and thank you so much. It was just mind-blowing. I was still I walked away, I was shaking maybe the whole ride back to Baltimore. I kept looking at this bracelet, and I'm just like, oh my God, did that just happen? Did this just happen to me? It was crazy. never before had I experienced something so moving. Few words that she said to me completely changed my perspective. I left Baltimore that morning feeling depressed and sad and helpless, and I came back feeling on top of the world, which is a lot to experience in a day. But my lesson to all of you from this Devar is that you should always appreciate what you have and make the most of your lot in life and take care of yourself before anyone else. But always take care of yourself and take care of your friends and your family. But most importantly, just stay happy and keep smiling. Shabbat Shalom.